go deep into this metaverse, but I would just like you to think a little bit, understanding the 7 layers of the metaverse. So basically, this metaverse works on the 7 layers. I would not go into the detail about the 7 layers because everybody would be knowing it. But just to name these 7 layers, first is the experience, second is the discovery, third is the creator economy, fourth is spatial computing, then decentralization, human interfacing, and infrastructure. So these are the 7 layers of metaverse on which it actually works. With this, I am keen on listening to the experts from diverse industry backgrounds to let us all know where exactly we are heading, what's really installed in the upcoming decade. I will be all ears throughout. Thank you.
Thank you for enlightening us, sir. To add on to the understanding, it is a revolutionary exploration of the metaverse where today's discussions will unravel its profound impacts on marketing, commerce, and societal frameworks. Our esteemed gathering of experts, leaders, and visionaries is poised to illuminate this digital frontier, offering first-hand insights into this transformative landscape. As we delve into the real world case studies showcasing how pioneering brands harness the metaverse's potential to reshape marketing strategies, we'll also navigate the critical realm of policy implications, aligning regulations with rapid technological shifts. Today's theme transcends mere buzzwords. It signifies a seismic shift in the marketing landscape, one that's here and now, redefining how we engage and transact. Through panel discussions, insightful Q&A sessions, and immersive case studies, we aim to explore the evolution of marketing within the metaverse, addressing challenges, ethical considerations, consumer behavior shifts, and the integration of cutting-edge technologies like the VR and AR. Join us on this journey not just to enlighten, but to ignite curiosity, foster dialogue, and inspire innovative thinking as we venture into a realm where marketing transcends boundaries and imagination takes center stage. Urge each of you to engage actively, ask questions, and be part of this transformative conversation. Together, let's explore the contours of this digital frontier and uncover the infinite possibilities it holds for the future of marketing. Once again, a heartfelt warm welcome to the annual Marketing Conclave 2024 at Jaipuria Institute of Management, Noida. Let's make today a catalyst for insightful discoveries and meaningful connections. I now invite my co-host, the AI, Jim, to welcome the guests. Over to you, Jim.
An enterprising innovator, Mr.
Just a quick check. Is the audio clear?
I think audio can be a little louder if it is possible. If it can be a little louder.
I think that's the maximum volume.
Okay, fine. Let's go along.
Startup Labs. In 2020, the company deploys virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, 3D, and gamification to improve the efficiency and efficacy of higher education. Mr. Madtiger leads product strategy and practices at Labs. He is also certified in higher education teaching from Harvard's Derek Fox Center for Teaching and Learning. As a founding member of the Education NGO Fascination, Mr. Madtiger worked to improve dwindling learning outcomes in interior regions of Go. As a voracious reader, he launched the social initiative, PUSTAC, to provide students with quality and diverse reading material. Additionally, Nihar has consulted organizations in the likes of LG, PepsiCo, Sherwood Heights, Oxford University Press, Cambridge, Judo, etc. on the deployment of virtual reality and immersive technologies across different. Nihar has contributed to the founding teams for other metaverse-based companies and advised on innovation through immersive technologies as well. Mr. Madtiger holds a green belt in Lean Six Sigma, certified by Team Pima.
Dear Nihar sir, in accordance with our Jaipuria tradition, we extend our gratitude to our esteemed guests by presenting a green certificate. In this gesture, a tree is planted in the reverend Gurdwaras of Moga, Punjab, in each of your names. The progress and growth of these trees can be tracked by simply scanning the certificate through the provided scanner. This initiative reflects our commitment to nurturing a sustainable ecosystem.
Thank you for the great introduction and for this wonderful gesture.
It's not audible.
Is it audible?
No, ma'am, I
Not
think
right.
so. It is
You,
not
you can just
audible.
try replaying it maybe.
Yes.
Is it audible or very slow?
It is not at all audible. Navya, maybe you can just read it out.
Sure, sir. Ma'am, can you share the screen?
Just let's do a last try.
Satya Jain,
Yeah, it's audible.
Yes, now it's audible. Yes.
experienced director level government officer with over 20 years of experience in project and operation management of it. He has a proven track record of delivering successful initiatives that align with the organization's strategic goals. His expertise in developing and executing complex projects, optimizing operations, and managing large-scale programs has helped drive digital transformation and innovation across government agencies. Additionally, his experience in managing budgets, ensuring compliance with regulations, and building strong relationships with stakeholders has enabled him to effectively navigate the unique challenges of the public sector. With a passion for leveraging technology to improve government services and outcomes, he is committed to driving meaningful change through strategic.
Thank you very much. I think
Yeah, sir, we are pleased to present the
never
green
had a
certificate to you.
introduction before. Thank you.
Satya Jain, Vice President Infogame, with over 24 years of experience in the industry, Satya Jain provides the delivery leadership for Fortune 50 customers on large-scale engineering programs on data and analytics. He comes in with a strong background in product engineering services and has led large-scale digital transformation engagements of 400 team members across multiple locations worldwide. He was based out of Boston for 6 years before coming back to India. He has had long work tenures with Dell Services and HL Technologies and have traveled across the globe for work. He is a frequent speaker on data engineering, product management, and new age digital technologies at national conclaves and panel events.
Dear Vatsalya, sir, we present you the green certificate.
Thank you for this gesture. Really appreciate this giving back to
Thank
the
you, sir.
Chaitanya, the director-founder, Diagonal Consulting, Chaitanya, has over 20 years of experience working with more than 500 clients across Asia Pacific and Japan. He is currently the CEO and founder of two firms, Diagonal Consulting and Lumen, where he helps businesses transform through data advisory, planning, and cybersecurity services. Previously, he held leadership roles at leading analytics companies like Click and Big Four consulting organizations, where he was instrumental in driving sales and partnerships. An alumnus of IBUBAD with an MBA in marketing. Chaitanya also holds extensive experience in industries ranging from quick service retail to oil and gas. He has worked with renowned organizations like Deloitte, PC, Peel, owning his expertise in business development, strategy, and analytics. Apart from being a trusted advisor to many large enterprises, Chaitanya is also an analytics evangelist, passionate about helping businesses unlock value from their data through strategic decision-making.
Dear Chaitanya, sir, we are pleased to present the green certificate to you.
Thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, for introducing the guests. Also, Bhavya, for being the creative brain behind the amazing AI. Now, I would also like to introduce our conclave chair, Professor Anuja Shukla, who will be moderating the panel discussion along with Shivansh, our student representative from second year PGDM batch. Ma'am is an associate professor with Jaipuria Institute of Management, Noida. She is a distinguished expert in the field of management. She is the recipient of the President Medal and the Director Medal. She has over 12 years of experience and over 30 paper publications. Her research articles have been published in the International Journal of Information Management, Psychology and Marketing, Vision, and FIIB. She has won Best Research Paper Awards at FMS, Symbiosis, and Amity. She is a management guru and has trained top level managers, CEOs, CTOs, and VPs in strategy building. She provides educational consulting to management graduates at international universities such as Deakin University, Australia, Liverpool John Moores University, UK, and Golden Gate University, USA. She is affiliated as a thesis supervisor with the Swiss School of Business Management, Switzerland. She is the author of the book Agile Research. It's a comprehensive guide that has been instrumental in shaping the research endeavors of students and professionals. Her areas of research interest include electronic word of mouth, consumer behavior, m-commerce, AR, VR, NLP, metaverse, smart voice assistants, generative AI, and next-gen technology. A very warm welcome and gracious welcome to all our dignitaries and esteemed guests. Your presence today adds immense value to this gathering, and we are incredibly excited and honored to have each one of you with us. Over to you, Anuja, ma'am, and Shivansh.
Thank you, Navya. Thank you, Bhavya. Both of you have done a wonderful job in welcoming our guest. So, good morning, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Dr. Anuja Shukla, and today we are privileged to have a panel of industry experts who will be there sharing their insights on transformative impact of metaverse in the field of marketing. We'll be engaging with four distinguished speakers, Mr. Chaitanya, Mr. Vatsalya Jain, Mr. Nihar, and Dr. Ashish. Each of them brings a wealth of experience and expertise to our discussion. Now, I'm transferring the discussion to my co-moderator Shivansh, who is a bright, enthusiastic management student at Jaipuria Institute of Management, Noida. Shivansh, over to you now.
Thank you, ma'am. Mark Zuckerberg declared 2021 the year of the metaverse. And since then, metaverse has evolved as a huge marketplace. As per Statista, metaverse market worldwide is projected to grow by 37% till 2030, resulting in a market volume of US dollar 507.8 billion. Virtual landlords selling for millions, concerts attended by avatars, and brands building virtual stores. The lines between fiction and reality are blurring faster than ever. This isn't just a hype, but a fundamental shift in how we interact with the world and, importantly, how we consume information. Today, we delve into the heart of this exciting frontier: marketing in the metaverse. From a long time, I have been hearing about AR, VR, and metaverse. Also tried to find out what are these, but never got a chance to learn these things directly from the experts of the industries. So, Mr. Nihar, co-founder IXR Labs, to begin with, kindly help us in understanding the buzzword what is metaverse.
Great. Thank you, Shivans, for a very difficult question. I mean, it's like describing what the world is, right? And that's exactly what it is. It's a whole parallel world that will exist along with us. So this word comes from the book, a science fiction novel, and that's something that Deepak sir was mentioning, that fiction is now becoming reality. So it comes from this a science fiction book called Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson, published in the 1990s, where he talks about a world which is completely digital, a completely virtual world, which exists in parallel and in coordination with the real world that exists. And you can trade with that world. You can sort of socialize in that world. You can learn in that world, and it continues to be present and influence the real world as well. So that's what the metaverse has been. And if we look at what we do today, I mean, there is this whole vibrant real world that we have, something that we can touch, feel, but we are increasingly spending more and more of our time on a parallel digital world as well. Our social media, our social networks, the internet for work, the internet for e-commerce platforms. Those exist in parallel with the real world in today's day and time. But they inhabit a very different plane. I mean, it inhabits like a 2D platform. That's where in the future the attempt is to bring this vibrant real world and this really exciting digital world together, which interact seamlessly. That interaction is being made possible through the technologies like you mentioned, AR, VR, XR. They are the technologies that are going to break this 2D plane in which the virtual world is encapsulated and combine it with the real world that exists with us. So that's what you see with the new Apple Vision Pro, Meta Quest 3, etc. coming out. They talk more and more about mixed reality. It's a virtual world that can interact and influence your real world. Parallelly, you would also that would also allow a presence of people who are non-incorporate in nature. I mean, that would be the AIs that would exist, that would build an existing population of AI-based characters, which would inhabit that world, right? And they would be able to interact with us as well. So you could imagine that you walk into a boardroom, maybe you're sitting there, you are physically present. Some of your colleagues are present remotely, but it feels as if they are really there and they do feel as present as anyone else. But alongside on that table, you also have uh, AI-based avatars who are not real people, but they are digital beings who exist, who maybe will guide you through your meetings, will probably assist you in different ways, or I mean, they could probably take a mind of their own and be doing something very different there. So that's the vision of the metaverse. And one key point here is that whenever we talk about the metaverse, we talk about one whole metaverse, like the whole universe, and not fragmented metaverses which exist independently, but a metaverse that interacts all together with, connects with everything like our world today. Lastly, one technology that I did ignore in all of this is blockchain and cryptocurrency. So to facilitate interaction, commercial interaction between a real and a virtual world, you need some sort of a currency that transcends these boundaries. That's where blockchain and cryptocurrency come into play. So AI, immersive technologies like XR and blockchain and cryptocurrency, all of these are technology platforms that would make metaverse possible. And as a concept, it's something that's really hard to encapsulate in a single thought and probably in a single discussion as well. So yeah, I tried my best to explain what the metaverse is.
Thank you, sir. The metaverse promises to bridge the physical and digital divide. However, this blurs the boundaries. I would request Mr. Vatsalya Jain, Vice President, Infogain, to enlighten us on does metaverse blur the lines of the physical and digital world? How do you envision the metaverse changing the way consumers interact with brands and products?
I think that's a very interesting question, Shivansh. And fortunately, in the technology world, I've been part of the implementation side. So there are some interesting use cases that I've seen, which validate that this is not a concept; it is actually in execution. So, as you know, like we've been studying a lot about digital transformation, digital evolution, and a lot of these organizations are moving away from being a brick and only mortar store to online. We've seen a lot of cases in the US where companies have got bankrupt. Toys R Us is a very wonderful example. They wanted a brick store, then they wanted an online version, but then they converged to getting more sales from online. So things are getting more like a mix of both. Now, how does this create a seamless experience for consumers? So if I being a consumer, I would like to get an experience. I really need a product and I would need to see the feel, look, how does it suit me as well. So for me, first of all, digital channels, which we call as either a tab or mobile or laptop. So the omni-channel experience has gained a lot of value. Now it is no longer needed. I go to a store and pick it and see it. I need to have a mental image, a mental perception about that product. And a digital experience can be generated across all devices. We all use a lot of tablets and devices and mobiles. So that is the key area where a consumer would get engaged. So for a brand, it is very important to get a consumer mindset, what he or she is looking at. A very interesting use case that I've seen in my past experiences, like when people used to go, one of my friends, he has a startup in Bangalore. So he made a portal which used leveraged IoT, where users go in the store and they get customized and personalized messages, what they would look for, what are the things they would want for. So those are the things when I get into the metaverse world, the brands would get a flair of, oh, what type of personality I am, what my preference is, what are the clothings, what are the areas that I look for. So there'll be a lot of concentrated effort in marketing to push me products that would suit me as well. For example, if I'm in a metaverse world and I'm looking around, oh, it's a women's shopping store and I'm looking for some dresses, automatically I get a message from that word, oh, if you buy some trousers for women, you get additional 20% off. They will assume I'm not buying for myself, I'm buying for my spouse or someone that I know of. So they are very customized and personalized messages or information that the metaverse world holds. And I, as a user, would be more inclined because I'm not getting that feature in a physical world. So this is a level of satisfaction, engagement, which will help me as a user stay engaged. A very interesting use case that I actually got to see, like in the US, there's a store called Home Depot, which is something like there are a lot of home stuffs. So they have tiles, they have the interiors, they'll take an enclosure world, you sit in there, and then you talk about what are the colors you want, where are the shafts, where are the fireplaces that you want. And they are like, it's a heavy use of AR and VR. So in 10 minutes, you're able to visualize. Because if somebody spreads us, if we go into the store and say, hey, I want tiles of these colors, we all get confused because there's so many ranges. But in the VR world, in the meta world, there will be a simulation where the users get to see what are the priorities, which is the option 1, 2, 3. So what it helps in the brands is convergence faster, acceptance faster, and more importantly, I as a consumer would not be hooked to a particular brand. It will be the experience, the integration and amalgamation of what I need. So that's a very fine balance. If the metaverse world is able to give a consumer, I would definitely like to hook on that and stay with it.
Thank you, sir. Consumer behavior is evolving faster than ever, shaped by this immersive virtual world. I would like to invite Mr. Chaitanya, Director and founder of Diagonal Consulting, to share examples of some successful marketing campaigns or strategies that have effectively leveraged the emerging technology landscape.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. There are a few things that come to my mind. One of the first things is in 2018, I guess, Epic Games has started their virtual concerts and called Fortnite. They collaborated with various artists, and that event is getting bigger and bigger. And last year, I think 2022, there was Travis Scott who performed there. So these events actually attracted a huge number, millions and millions of players who play these games, and they attended these virtual concerts. They effectively, what they're trying to do is blending this entertainment and marketing in this metaverse. A few other things that are common, have become common right now. A lot of artists and art institutions are creating NFTs, non-fungible tokens, art galleries within metaverse environments, and like Decentraland or the Sandbox. So these galleries have attracted a lot of art enthusiasts and collectors, providing a new way to engage with and market this art in the digital space. And then you have these virtual fashion shows by brands like Gucci, Burberry. So they've hosted fashion shows within virtual worlds, allowing people to engage with their latest collections in a very immersive environment. And real estate companies have used, like Vatsalya was saying, they're also using this metaverse to market and sell their properties and spaces. So you don't need to kind of go to the open house. You can just get into a virtual open house and property tours within these digital environments. And you have like Abhishek was saying, the a fantastic example around Nike and Coca-Cola. They have created their own branded virtual spaces within these metaverse platforms, and they're allowing users to interact with their products and experience different kind of brand activations. So these are a few examples, and the technology is super fast evolving. If you see the Gartner hype cycle, the VR and AR, you go into any mall, you will find a VR section there. And this will even get better. I mean, Apple has recently launched their pair of goggles. So as the technology becomes a lot more immersive, the platforms also kind of evolve, and you will see more of these coming up, and very interesting times ahead. Yep.
Thank you, sir. Well, that was very insightful. Dr. Ashish, Director Cybersecurity and Forensics, Government of India. My next question directs to your expertise. What ethical considerations should metaverse keep in mind when operating within the metaverse, particularly regarding user data and privacy? Hello. Am I
Ashish, you're
audible?
muted.
Yeah, am I audible? Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, you are.
So I think this is the you know sometime in 2018 or 19, the government had realized that, uh, and they had used a terminology called disruptive technologies. Now, what it means is you cannot stop it. These technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, now metaverse, cloud technologies, you cannot stop them. Now let's roll back, and because I can see everybody has put in at least 20 years of experience. So we belong to, we are coming from that generation, and we've seen that technology where we used to correct using dial-up modems, and we could still remember the sound of the modems that used to tick, 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 and slowly correct. And then after say 2 minutes or 3 minutes, there is a one web page used to turn up, and that time the challenges were different. The country was not that prepared and didn't have that vision which we had after in the Modi government, with the Niti Aayog and Amitabh Kant ji rolling out the responsible AI document and the national strategy on AI and national strategy on blockchain. So that was not there. And if you see all these products, when they come to India, up there, like I'll explain about China. China is a beautiful, it has an apex body which controls what products are being manufactured in the country and how are they coming. Because they are seeing from a very highest level that are these products are coming with some kind of bugs. Are these products are having an implanted bugs which are sending information to a C2C or some places? Or what will happen if like all these professionals, they must be knowing that the networks we have, which we have, they're idly either they've come from Hong Kong or they've come from non-Indian states. And what will happen if there is a state of emergency? It may so happen that these equipments, these networking equipments, they have inbuilt bugs inside. Okay, so and when the balloon goes up, they may stop working. And the kind of dependency we have. You imagine you are in a place where the mobile networks are not accessible to you, the entire network collapses. Okay, so now coming back, rolling back and coming to 2018, 19, we have imagined that these things are going to come. And the figures which have, which many people, one of the, I think the students said $518 billion by 2030, by 2016. These all predictions are correct. So we can't stop these technologies. So what do we need to do? The question is that. The question is we need to regulate the products which are being manufactured in India or being imported in India. We need to ensure that these products are ethical. So I would like to refer, and if I'm sure you must have gone through it, but there's a large audience and from the business background. So I would like to tell them that please go to Niti Aayog website and read this responsible AI document, the national strategy on AI. Now that takes the definition of ethics from the Constitution of India. Something which is important, which is general, common sense, general morals, which we see, like, which we inculcate in our children, which we teach in our children as they grow up. It has come from there. So any product has to be ethical. Now you name it, you can make it ethical AI or a responsible AI, whatever you can call. But the certain societal considerations were taken from there. Number one being that, and these considerations were made from the lessons learned of the products which were launched in some other market, say in US. So I'm remembering there is one then product which was into the autonomous driving, and I don't remember the exact dates and all. And this lady was crossing the road, and she got hit by a car which was driven by itself using the AI softwares and all. And then it went to court. And the questions were that who needs to be blamed? For that accident, who needs to be blamed? Is it that car manufacturing company needs to be blamed? Or you need to blame the person who has programmed that software, that autonomous driven software? Who needs to be blamed? So from there, the ethical consideration came that these products should be able to explain, should be able to fix the responsibility of the product. If somebody has designed a product, and why I'm talking about AI is because, see, metaverse is, as somebody explained it, it's a big ecosystem, and there was some 7 layers given by Abhishek Janji, and really thankful to you. But how I see metaverse is, if I talk about retail, nowadays we are going to Amazon and we are logging in, and I take it as like, I am, lying on my bed, I log on to one of the websites. Now, when I'm logging in, I'm talking this device. This device has to be enabled to handle that kind of metaverse. First of all, it should have the capability in terms of the hardware to log on. Then you should have the platform. We're talking about Web3 and all. You should have this platform to log into, to imagine an Amazon website which has all the virtual players. As the Chaitanya ji told me, that you will have virtual human beings sitting beside you. So you will imagine through Amazon or any other website you enter, and you have the salesperson right in front of you, and you end up sharing your information, your details, everything is going there. So data privacy, data security, all these things consideration has to be there. So one of the most important things which I have realized for any product, whether it is an AI product, a blockchain product, or a metaverse kind of product, which involves all these things, and obviously there's a technology behind it. For accessing such kind of bandwidth, either you are latching on to the ground network, which is running at 5G speeds or maybe more, or a 5G based network. So that the regulation has to be there also. The standards has to be placed there also. Cybersecurity has to be placed there also. So it's a huge ecosystem. It's a huge technology stack, one after the other. And the ethical has to be placed across the ecosystem. So for the best reference, I refer the societal considerations which are written in the responsible AI, that at least the software or the product should be able to fix responsibilities if anything goes wrong. Now in metaverse, anything can go wrong if there is a violation, there's a leakage of data, anything, any crimes. We have started from the internet, dial-up internet, where the violation used to be hardly anything. Maybe a few, hijacking, hacking, or a few things now. And from there, we have come to a place where cyber stalking, cyber terrorism, and recently I read in the newspaper cyber rape, and all these things are happening now. And imagine the amount of data which are going there. So the IT acts cover all the the crimes which are laid there. So for coming back to the question, I feel that if there is any product which are using disruptive technologies like AI and blockchain and all these things, they should be able to. There has to be a responsibility fixing thing. It should be the company should be very clear that it should identify. It should tell very categorically who will be responsible if anything goes wrong. Now, this is a societal consideration in the documents that has not been enforced. If it has to be enforced, it has to be enforced in form of laws. So we have got recently the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, which is in place. The telecom bill, which has been approved by the president last year. So two major things coming last year. And we are assuming, although for metaverse, there is nothing like a national strategy on metaverse which has been rolled out. Maybe that might be in the pipeline, but AI, definitely we were expecting an AI law to come, which has not yet come. But what I would say is the last year DPDPA and the telecom bill are, I think, the long pending requirements which have turned up. Now I'll explain the DPDPA later on, but ethical consideration, yes, the product should be able to fix responsibility, and product should be able to explain the logic behind any decision. These are the basic ethical consideration. It should be able to preserve the data of the user. It should not be able to share data. It must not share data and all those things. But these are all things which are written in the written form. But to enforce it, obviously the enforcement mechanism has to be in place, and we are lucky that in the Modi regime we have at least the Digital Personal Data Protection Act and the telecom bill. In the DPDPA already enacted in August last year, and the telecom bill got its assent from the president on the 24th December. So these two were the excellent moves to enforce the ethical considerations.
Thank you, Ashish ji. This is Professor Abhishek Jain. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You are. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ashish ji, for sharing high-level overview of how cyber security is important. Now, I think so. By I was hearing you, Ashish ji, and like India still needs to go a longer way. I think so in this digital policies and everything.
Yes, that's correct. See,
Okay.
The thing is, as I said, we have realized that these are the disruptive technology. They will come. If you don't smoothen the adoption process, you will lose on in ensuring a very conducive ecosystem for the people who are manufacturing it, for the people who are importing it, and for the consumers also. So what happens is, if there is something which has gone wrong in a different market, say for example in US, as I mentioned about that product, or there was also a product which used to help the doctors deduce the help them in figuring out the disease. But when the doctor asked the software, they were not able to explain the logic behind it. So when these things happen, obviously, if you are a doctor and the software is not able to explain you the logic behind coming to that conclusion, there is a sense of mistrust which creeps in. And then that led to the complete, not using that software and abandoning the software throughout. So to avoid such things in a country like India, you need to, lay down certain societal considerations, broad guidelines, and that is how you saw, Niti Aayog advocating about responsible AI, and all the big fours and all talking about ethical AI and all those stuff. It's basically to spread in the ecosystem that these are the basic things, and it also makes the entire regulatory bodies and the ecosystem, the people who are intending to bring the products from outside, to understand that these are the basic things. Now, we cannot violate beyond this. This has to have a minimum of this consideration has to be in place for a product to be launched and be successful in the Indian market. So the prime aim was to smoothen the adoption.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, Nihar ji, I have just one specific question for you. Like, could you just could we just brief up the people over here? Like, are there any specific industries or sectors that are particularly well suited to metaverse marketing? And if so, what makes them a good fit?
Yeah, there would certainly be different levels of adoption in different industries. I think, given the primary nature of metaverse being a social kind of a social network, to put it, a lot of the industries that impact these social interactions, be it things like fashion, be it things like events, or you could probably even put it things like dating industry, for example. Uh, these are probably certain areas where you'd probably see people taking up active participation first. I mean, gaming, it's already happening. I'm putting gaming in terms of like a social activity where you play multiplayer games with different other gamers. So it's already happening in gaming. But if we talk about fashion, if we talk about events, it's now starting to happen. I mean, Chaitanya already mentioned that there were multiple events that are already happening with people like the latest artists coming up through those platforms. Uh, Beyond that, there are luxury goods which would be there that would be probably taking up because there is sort of a prestige and premium value that they associate with it, which sort of feeds into this whole narrative built around NFTs and what would be called crypto assets. So you can hold those luxury goods in form of crypto assets. So any kind of platform, any kind of goods that could be probably structured in that sort of a digital asset format would certainly be the ones that would take it up. Additionally, day-to-day consumer goods, FMCG, etc., they are the ones that probably would take up adoption slightly later because people are familiar with them in terms of their very core usage of the product. That's what probably they would do the marketing of it. I mean, you did take up the case of Coca-Cola, for example. When Coca-Cola did take up that marketing exercise, it probably was not to drive sales for their product. It was more from a brand and brand building perspective. So any kind of goods that are relying on marketing for driving sales or driving consumption, which are basically commoditized goods specifically, they would be the ones that would really be slow in terms of taking up. And probably what I find is a very interesting use case that's coming up and which we often tend to ignore is actually B2B services and B2C services where there is a human interaction component. Now, this human interaction component could actually be replaced by AI interaction or digital interaction with digital humans. So they are, in fact, the ones that are really coming up fast. Hiring, for example, they are picking up metaverse for their sort of interviews and interactions that they conduct. Banking is picking up metaverse. We, in fact, do get a lot of interest from different global banks to build metaverse platforms for banking. Then you have industries that do like, let's say, process optimization, etc. They are also the ones who have been asking for metaverse because there are certain, again, human interactions or data and person interaction or a virtual and person interaction happening, which can be smoothened out through these technologies that work on the metaverse. So yeah, I think largely there are three, four industries, each in different segments that are prime to do it. And probably there is also a larger industry base that will take a lot of time to see a lot more wider adoption before people or before those companies actually move to the metaverse to sort of in a more of a regular or day-to-day adoption in that sense.
So Nihar ji, like, what could I make it out like from the things is, any industry or sector could be suited for this thing. So correct for metaverse marketing.
Any industry could do it. You'll have to
Okay.
look at, is your TG there or not? I mean, a large number of the metaverse platforms, be it things like Roblox or Decentraland, a lot of the users there is the Gen Z generation, right? So if you are leveraging existing metaverse platform, you'll have to look at what the audience is on those platforms. So a lot of fashion brands that target towards the Gen Z generation, be it likes of Nike, Adidas, etc., they already are on metaverse platforms like Roblox, or you would find it on Decentraland, etc. A lot of the B2B services platforms, they have their own metaverse platforms or own metaverse based platforms on which they are building their services. So you'll have to really look at who the audience is that you're catering to. Do they have the access to the technologies that enable interaction with the metaverse? For example, I'll give you a case. The headset market, it's largely concentrated in the North American geographies, and the age groups that use it are up to 30 years of age, from 18, I would put it. So if you are really marketing to those categories and you are doing B2C marketing, then probably any company doing B2C marketing in the North America market, it's time for them to get onto platforms like the Quest 3 and start marketing through those, because there is huge adoption of those technologies there. But let's say if you are in the Indian market, you'll probably not do really great doing that sort of marketing on a B2C scale. On a B2B scale, yes, you would do it. There would be a limited number of audience that you could reach through those metaverse-based marketing activities if you are really concentrating on certain geographies where those enabling technologies are not that prevalent yet. Yet, I would give you a case. For example, Maruti Suzuki did this metaverse called the Arenaverse, which was done to market the Vitara Brezza during 2022's T20 World Cup. So that's, for example, an use case which was very specifically targeted towards people who are following cricket online. So you have this now growing Indian population, which are digital natives that you could target through augmented reality or phone-based, phone-native metaverse applications. So yes, any industry could do it. I probably maybe it's only the raw material industry like steel or concretes or those kind of industries that might be the last adopters of it. But even in the construction space, I'm not sure who was speaking about it, but you have your tiles and we have bathroom fitting. They are there on the metaverse. So I don't think there is any boundary as such for brands to get on the
Yes,
metaverse or not get on the metaverse. Yeah.
Vatsal sir was speaking it, I think so, regarding this
Yes.
3D conceptions about making up your houses, etc.
Yes.
For this thing. Now that means this comes to me one more fact. I don't know how much I'm correct, sir, but do the companies need to have deep pockets for these things to adopt this technology?
Not really. I mean, you can start off at very low budgets as well, especially if you want to, let's say, do the marketing on platforms like Decentraland and Roblox, etc. You can purchase smaller pockets, which are maybe a few $100 to start off with, and you could start marketing there. I mean, I'll give you a case like someone could maybe try this out as well. You can go to Decentraland, you can get a small piece of land which will cost you, I think, uh, maybe something around $100 or so. And you could place your images of your artwork or images of your content on that piece of land. You can give this link to anyone on the internet. They can just click on that link and get into Decentraland and see your artwork there, or see your content there. I mean, it's as simple as that if you want to start with. But yes, if you want something really customized, something that's your own, then yes, it would cost you more. I mean, another example comes to my mind. Amul has built a metaverse. So there is Amulverse, which is there. And I think as much as I have insights, they probably spend something around 20 to 30 lakhs getting that whole metaverse up and running. It's basically an engagement for people to learn about the history of Amul and sort of engage them into give them insights into what is a wide range of Amul products. I mean, I was actually surprised to know Amul has so many products other than just milk and ice cream. I mean, the variety is huge. So it's probably from an exposure perspective as well. So that could be sort of a middle ground of investment. And then there are companies that we have worked with who have spent like multi crores on building whole metaverse engagement platform. Work with one event company which used music events, etc. online. So they built a whole metaverse world virtually where you could come in, enjoy music, play music, interact with peers, etc.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So, I'm listening through, it's been a very, very enriching, discussion, various diverse perspectives. I would like to understand the metaverse a little more from the student's perspective, from the context of academics. So, Chaitanya ji, if I can, bring you in now and ask you that, could you possibly, what advice would you like to give to our students? They are budding marketers for tomorrow, right? They are all budding marketers of tomorrow, most of them, who have opted for marketing. So what kind of initiatives should they take to come up the learning curve quickly? What I mean is that how best can they explore the possibilities of marketing in the metaverse, especially when we seem to be just scratching the surface. So that's the question.
Yeah, true. Firstly, the availability of these technologies is going to be faster and cheaper as we progress. But there are very simple steps. Like learning about anything new, there are very simple steps to this. One is you start by educating yourself. Start by gaining a deeper understanding of what metaverse is. What are these virtual environments? What are these platforms where it is most prevalent? Familiarize with VR and AR, NFTs, and other elements that are really central to metaverse. And then identify your audience, understand the demography, like Nihar was talking about. For some organizations, it could be Gen Z, and Gen Z and the millennials are the ones who are taking the initial steps very quickly to latch on to anything that is new. So understanding the demographics, and it'll percolate up and down the age brackets very, very soon. So you understand the demographics and the behavior of these audiences within the metaverse, identifying your audience and consider how they are engaging with the digital experiences and what kind of virtual interactions they find it appealing, and then tailor your strategy to align with these preferences. Then you explore these virtual platforms, familiarize with things like Decentraland, Sandbox, Roblox, and others. My kids play on Roblox, and I find it very intriguing. And explore how these brands and organizations are currently leveraging these platforms, for marketing and engagement. And then you leverage the immersive content, embrace these interesting opportunities that come for content creation. Think beyond the traditional advertising and explore how you can actually create these engaging and interactive experiences for people to resonate with. Few other things that come to mind are, maybe you can consider partnerships and collaboration. As a marketer, what you generally do is form partnerships with established creators and established influencers, and then collaborations can amplify your reach. And you see that happening on YouTube, you see that happening on Instagram right now, but you will see that more happening in the virtual world as well. And then you experiment and iterate. It's an evolving space, like we were all talking about, that you have to be open to experimentation in an evolving space. So test different approaches, measure engagement, see what's working, gather feedback, and then iterate on this. And the most successful ones are not the ones who do something and just are somehow able to get the best and then they forget about it. The most successful ones are who iterate and iterate fast, and iterate with discipline, and then prioritize community building. Consider creating communities and fostering engagement within these communities. And then most important thing is it's just not the virtual world that is there. Yeah, maybe sometime in the future you will have everything relegated to the virtual space and completely. And I think in the next 20 years, I think on X, I was reading that something that will get normalized is people not even venturing out of their houses, and they'll just stay. And if you have seen Ready Player One, it's going to be a new reality. Maybe it's something that we have to agree with. So, but till that time, that happens, you need to understand how to integrate the virtual with the real, instead of integration with the traditional channels, and like Dr. Ashish was talking about, staying ethical and transparent. As with any marketing endeavor, you have to prioritize ethical practices and transparency, and more so, responsibility is very key. So you have to include clear communication about data usage, privacy policies, what nature of virtual interactions. So, and then continuous learning, like sharpening the saw. Given that it is rapid evolution, you have to be continuously learning, and you have to be fast about it. I think with these steps, marketers can actually start to begin to navigate.
That's great. That's like a lot of food for thought. Just one more quick question. Like, we've launched a course, a marketing elective, which is related to AI. So AI for non-coders. Do you think there is room for a course dedicated to metaverse? Or another school of thought was that perhaps there could be a course which addresses all these emerging technologies. Maybe there's not room enough right now for a marketing elective on metaverse, but perhaps an elective that addresses AR, VR, metaverse, something. So any thoughts on that?
That would make sense. Absolutely makes sense, because you combine all these emerging technologies and how they interplay with each other. That would be a fascinating thing to learn. And of course, people can pick up pieces of it and go deeper if they are interested in something very, very specific. But I strongly believe in convergence. I mean, it comes and hits you when you least expect it. I mean, things like, people don't even understand how these two technologies come together and create a unique experience, and how it is leveraged and how it is used. So yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea. You can combine these things.
Okay. Thank you so much. Right.
So, Ashish, I have a question for you. Now, could you just tell me up, like, it was just a thought which was coming down to my mind, that what are the opportunities or challenges that probably you see in the adoption of metaverse from policy perspective?
Okay. So, actually, metaverse has been coined as a single terminology, but as I said earlier, it's like it's a complete ecosystem in itself. If you talk about, like Chaitanya ji was saying, if a course has to be designed for a person who's learning marketing, and whatever limited knowledge I have about marketing, it's all about consumer behavior. So you need to understand the basics of the metaverse and all that. Similarly, if there's a technologist and he has to appreciate metaverse, he has to understand the technologies which are in the headsets or the handsets which will access it, the entire stack behind it, and how the AI and the blockchain, in case there's a financial transactions, and how's the cloud working at the back, at the background. He has to understand that way, you know. So similarly, metaverse is, although countries have rolled out strategies on metaverse, but I think India has taken a different way, maybe a step-by-step approach, where it has first rolled out the strategy on AI, then it has rolled out a strategy on blockchain. So while the AI strategy lays down the societal considerations, it defines the AI into weak, strong, narrow AIs, different AIs, and the roadmap, how the country has to develop the capacity, how it has to, the funding of the institutes. So you have seen almost all the institutes, whether it is IIT, IIMs, and it has also recognized it's an interdisciplinary affair. So you will see the IITs have got now humanities also. We have got almost IIMs. IIM Ahmedabad, I know personally because it has got a center for AI, digital transformation, all these. And then there are various scientific bodies which are funding for the research, trying to promote the research. So that it appears on the landscape. So it's a a policy initiative is trying to push in different forms and breaking metaverse into blockchain, AI, and enforcement, of course, because we were talking about adoption, and because we are scared that a wrong product can create in newspapers we read that there was an AI tool which was supposed to load the lift, and it ended up killing the worker who was standing next to it. So such kind of incidents, they are actually, they work against the adoption. And once this spreads, especially when our generation, we've seen movies like, Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies, where the entire world is taken over by machines. So to ensure that smooth adoption, the strategies have been broken down into various national strategies, and till Amitabh Kanji has at least two strategies were already rolled out. And DPDPA, I think it is an excellent thing. I don't know how many people know about it till now. It enacted in August. Now it is very clear. See, till now, the famous ISO 27001 international standard, which was being followed by the companies, was more of a ceremonial kind of thing, to showcase that we are protecting your data. Okay, and or it was a requirement from the client side, but now it has become a mandate. So if you are a CEO of a company and minded the cyber security, whether it is government or it's in the corporate, it's a responsibility of the top boss, because the kind of penalties which are involved, the DPDPA says the penalty is to the tune of 250 crores. Telecom bill, it is much higher, and that also has a portion of cybersecurity in it. So you walk up to the shopping store, you're in any of these shopping store, and the first thing he asks you is what is your mobile number, and then he starts billing you, if you have noticed. So next time when you go to him, you can ask him, I'm giving you the mobile number, but do you have the processes in place to ensure that it is protected? Else you will end up paying 250 crores to the exchequer. So it has become that serious now. Although European countries were always had the rules and regulations placed, but now the mandate has come, the law has come, and where it is defined data principles, who will be data principals, the owners of the data will be data principals. It also has the provisions for data localization, ensure that the data stays within the country. It has defined the concept of fiduciary, who will process the data, the concept of consent manager, who will ensure the consent is taken from the users. And then users have got rights. User has got the right to know how you are processing the data. User has got the right to know that the right to change the data. If he finds there is some mistake, he can take it up and he can get it changed. Although the act is abstract now and is running into few pages only, but we are waiting for the rules to come up, and the Data Protection Board, which is established, which will ensure this law is regulated in the country. So those responsibilities have been laid very clearly now, and we all know that a cyber attack will happen. It will happen. Your devices will compromise, but then the judiciary will ask you, as a top boss, as a CEO, what have you done? So now it is a mandate for you to ensure that the best of the practices which are in the industry are followed and implemented. That means you don't just go to the person and buys the certificate. You also ensure that it is implemented on ground. So that kind of changes are coming up, and two such acts have come up last year. The DPDPA enacted. Now the rumors are there that the chairman has already been decided of the data protection board, and rules will be out very soon. Then we have got telecom bill, which has already got the approval of the president. It also takes care. This metaverse will ride on net worth. It was not possible earlier, because you don't have that bandwidth. Now we have that bandwidth. We have 5Gs, and we have, although the regulation of 5G and all is a little complicated, we have got something called 3GPP, Third Generation Partnership Project, and the ITU, which lays down how the entire the standards and how the networks will be rolled out. All those things are already in place. I will also say the Make in India, that scheme from the Department of Commerce, that is also an excellent initiative. That is also pushing the local manufacturers. So you rewind 20 years back, and you were buying anything or everything from any company across the border and bringing it here. Now it's no more. No regulations, the framework has been placed, the strategies have been made, the promotion, the schemes have been made to promote. As director, I had to take, being working in forensics, I had to literally work hard to get exemptions for few tools, because I know the entire ecosystem of forensics is evolving, and right now it is not up to the mark. So certain things like you say MHA and all the CBIs and the NIAs, that is still taking exemptions. But we know that probably in half a decade, industries will come up. So you need to do that hand holding. And how will you do that? Such policies do help. So, and these are the policies which are straight coming to my mind. But otherwise, if you see, almost every ministry has rolled out some of the other policy to facilitate and leverage these kind of technologies, and these are all coming as a package, as a package where all these are interconnected.
Thank you, sir. It was really very insightful. Actually, it has made my thinking to a different level now. I was not able to think like all these sort of things that are going in the background, because I'm not such a tech savvy person. But yes, there are a lot of things, and ideally, I should be thankful for this present government then, who are actually taking so much of initiative. Because yes, the cyber attack would happen, the breaches would happen. So there has to be some ownership of the people who should be made responsible for these sort of things, and the laws are getting made for those sort of things to be actually penalized. It's a good thing for the country, I think so. Thanks a lot, sir, for the real good insight.
So as this discussion was going on, so a lot of thoughts were coming to my mind. So I would like to direct my next question to Vatsalya ji. Can you help us understand, because we are in a phase where we are transforming to a new technology. So how we have a traditional marketing channels, and then how these traditional marketing channels needs to be transformed if we are going to metaverse for marketing, and how should the marketers adapt to their strategies accordingly for marketing in the metaverse?
I think that's a very pertinent question, Anuj, and the way the industry is transforming. So first of all, I just like I work with both technologists, marketing, product people, and one thing that I clearly see that all things are converging now. Now, a marketing guy cannot say, "Oh, I know the logic, the sales perspective, but I do not know technology." And similarly, the people who are working in the background in the engineering side, they also need to know the products, they need to know the market, they need to know the analytics. So it's a fine balance, which I think that's for the students as well. They should not tie them. Oh, I'm not from an engineering background, I should not know technology. I think it's part and bread and butter for all of us to be immersed deeper into understanding the basic context, what metaverse, what AI is, what data talks about, because these are the building blocks. If these are not fortified, then going ahead would be a challenge and will not be able to make a mark. Now, I think we've a lot of talks have been there on Gen Zs coming up, and these are the people like statistics. If we talk about, these are the people who are spending the most. These are the people who are the most adventurous. These are the people who are more open to risks, and they are the fastest technology enablers as compared to the Gen Ys and the earlier generations. So there's a lot of focus the way marketing has changed. So now, even if I and my wife go and shopping in malls in India, it's difficult for us to find products, because what I see is most of the products are shaped for younger generations. You go to the Forever 21s, you go to Onlys, all those women's stores. So they will have, say, 80% of stock, which is towards Gen Z, and 20-25% people like us who are like, I'll say, a generation old now. So there's a lot of transformation that has happened. And that's obvious because of the demand, the pricing, the expectations, and all. So the traditional marketing has been like one for all. Okay, this is the product, these are the features, this is how you use it. So that was the perception that people were doing a push technology. Okay, this is what this consumer would look at, evaluate, and come back. But then now consumer being more aware, more powerful, and having more options, the flip has changed. Now the consumer will look for it. What is in it for me? How does this product suit me? I think B2C, we talked about the Gen Zs, we talked about fashion retail. I think the B2C market is the fastest adoption, not in India, globally. There people are coming up, how does this dress fits on me? We go to shops, we buy, like we are I go for women's is Onlys, or we go Forever 21s, or we go to all those individual brands, madams. For men's, we go for all tuxedos and like Van Heusen's. Now we are like, what is this brand talking about me? How do I fit into this? I maybe, if I'm a Gen Z, I'll look for, how does this product suit me? Does it fit in my appearance? How do I look? Does it fit in my budget? What is the longevity of this product? So things have changed on a perception basis. And again, what I think and probably what you think would be different. So there's a lot of personalization that is coming. And I think Dr. Ashish talked about very valid points of like data being there, like phone numbers, customization, because the fundamental element of personalization is data, where we talks about, oh, what would suit me may not suit somebody else. But if it suits me, then it will be easy for marketing to push products which are more pertinent in terms of my likings and preferences, my age groups. So there's a clear demarcation of clustering. And there is one of the key elements that we generally work in our organizations is the predictability, the analytics part, where there's a lot of data clustering. Like if you talk about linear modeling, clustering coming up, where what type of segmentation should be there. So the AI/ML part that we talk about. So that is the predictive models. This is the linear modeling where people would be preferred in this model. So that generic marketing approach is now bifurcated into various segments. Every segment has their own preferences, and then they will push to the consumer. However, the consumer has a choice to pick it or not, because there'll be an analysis. It will like end-to-end perspective of, would this suit me or not? Do have various options. So for marketing, it's more difficult because as a consumer, I'll have 4 options, which will be close. And again, for one of the customers that we work for UK, it is not just about perception. There's also a ranking to it. A very simple use case. I go to a fashion store, I buy a dress, I buy a coat, a formals, and then it could be multiple brands. It could not be only Van Heusen's or say Alan Solly's or whatever we buy. It should look suited on me, but then there's an overall score. Does it look good on me? How the color combination is good? Is the texture good? And then there is a final score. And that is interesting because if I pick up 3 dresses, I get a score of say 7.8 out of 10 on one. I get 8.2, 8.1, and then there's another 8.5. And the various levers could be the cost, the color, the textures. So it's easy for me to pick what suits me more. So as a consumer, I will pick up, oh, this is 8.5 by 10. I will go with this combination. It could be a combination of brands that I generally don't wear or don't buy. But then there's a lot of customer ownership and decision making that is coming up in the ecosystem. And I think Metaverse as an ecosystem is enabling that. So I think we talked about balancing small customers or small organizations versus large. But if small organizations are able to impactfully push their products, call out the various high-level features that they are, the value add that they can do it, I think they're up for a game against large organizations as well.
Thank you so much for the great insights, Vatsalya. So now, based on your information, I had a question coming up to my mind from the perspective of a student. So, for example, I'm a non-BTech background and I'm into now marketing. Then I learned the skills like R and Python, given the changing landscape, as you were telling that AI/ML would be the future. So now we have a section of students who are BTech plus MBA with these skills and a section of students who are non-BTech plus these skills. Do you see what kind of people market would accept more?
So again, if I used to talk about 10 years back, what I see as a trend when I work with organizations like HCL, there was a clear preference for people having an engineering background. So BTech plus MBA, because there was an understatement that thought that this person would be more technical, he can understand, he can talk with varied type of customers. But with the divergence of information available on internet, you go to Coursera, you go to all those courses, edXs and all. So there is an ample information available. And in my experience, in my organization, I have people who do not have a formal background, but their depth and their interest in the subject that they carry is huge. So for me, it's the output. So as a student, to the student community, it will be like, go all out, think what you want to do, immerse yourself into it. There's ample information available. Do not tie yourself that, oh, I need to go deep into it. But as long as you have a fair understanding of the concept, how it works, how it integrates with the various ecosystem, you should be good. And again, don't hesitate. If you think that some more insights needed, put your heart, mind, and soul, go deeper into it. Technology is no longer the way it used to be when I started my career. It was more used to be deep about it. Now there are so many platforms available where there are so many ease of use, drag and drops. If you have the concepts clear, for example, AI, ML, we do a lot of machine learning, data analytics work. So all the people coming up are pure statistics background. So they do really well because they understand numbers. So for me, an engineering guy working on analytics versus a statistics guy, a BSc stats or MS stats, I think the stats people understand the business very, very well. So it's an edge that they get. But again, there's no for an organization perspective, somebody who knows what needs to be done, how needs to be done, is the ultimate thing. So my 2 cents would be just align what a student wants to do, what we as a student should do, and then go all out. I think there's ample information, and you should be able to make a mark for yourselves.
Great, thank you so much. So if I summarize, skills over certificate or degree.
I'll always say skills. So certificates and degrees are enablers. They look good on resumes, but I've had fantastic experience with people who not even had a formal degree. So if it's all about just and passion and what you want to do, I'll give you a very simple example. I've been working on corporate presentations for my execs. So my younger son, he's in ninth grade. He came up, he was talking, oh, do you want to present this? We were talking about analytics platform. So he gave me insights which I could not even figure out. Oh, and this looks interesting. So I incorporated those ideas. And then my boss, he's the exec, and he said, Vatsale, where did you get these ideas? I told him, this is the ideas that I got from my son. So for me, it's like, I should have thought about it. My next level manager should have thought about it. But again, it is both the ideas that are being generated for people. It's like he doesn't even know the context, but he threw me, gave me, why don't you do this? But then it's also on me to absorb and inculcate that idea. So it's goes both ways. So it's like, as in India, we are generally being seen as a community which is followers. Like we work with US customers, say Indians don't speak, we don't innovate, we don't think out of the box. But I think to this new generation, my advice would be bindas, go all out, think your ideas, put your front. Do not bound yourself by boundaries. कि ये ऐसा ही होता है. Think, challenge the ecosystem, and you will come up with really great ideas. And they may not be complex, but then they could be very simple, which could be very, very effective. So it's in your hands how to shape up your career.
Great. Thank you so much. Over to you, Shivansh, now.
Thank you, everyone. With insights from our esteemed guests, we have just scratched the surface. Remember, the metaverse is not just a destination but a dynamic journey. Prepare to adapt, experiment, and create experiences that transcends the boundaries of reality.
All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Shivansh. Now the session is open for question and answers. So I see a lot of questions were already posted in the Q&A section and already answered also by the panelists. Thank you. Still, we have 2 open questions. So I would like to continue with that. So a question, actually, we were also live. So a question came from an external attendee directed towards Niharji. So the question is, Niharji, how metaverse can be made useful for students?
Yeah, so I think that's a very unique use case by itself as well, metaverse for education be there. And I think probably it allows you to interact with your peers. So something that always has been a complaint about online learning is that you don't get to interact. You don't get to do those group discussions. You don't get to do those breakout rooms, etc., which are, if I talk about like the business education sphere specifically, it is a key part of the whole learning experience. Where you take a case study, you discuss it face to face, you sit together and sort of hash out the idea. So I think that sort of opportunity to discuss, interact, collaborate is something that the metaverse presents itself. It also would make accessible to people tools, or let's say things like equipments or different kinds of uh, uh, material that they would use in their learning experience or learning journey that would be helpful for them to get exposure to things that are maybe not there in their physical environment, right? So they would be able to access tools again, which are maybe remote tools, which are not there within their environment. Additionally, you could bring in, I mean, we are doing this panel discussion here. I mean, it would be great to be doing it in a metaverse where I can maybe see all of you guys sitting right next to me on the table along with the audience as well. And we could be discussing there. So you could bring in industry experts from any remote location to your physical presence, and you could actually have a deep discussion with them and sort of discuss there. I think those are really the ways you would actually leverage metaverse related technologies to learn more. And I think lastly, to add one more thing, maybe AI certainly starts playing a bigger role. So again, how many industry experts would you be getting on a daily basis? You could probably replace them with an AI who sort of mimics an industry expert and sort of answers for you those questions which you are having on a day-to-day basis. And maybe sort of extend where your teachers sort of take you and take you further from there as well. So I think those are really the opportunities that metaverse has for the education space.
Great. So thank you, everyone. So Professor Halan, Professor Abhishek, and all the respected panelists. So based on this discussion, as I understand that the metaverse continues to evolve, it's very clear that the marketing strategies needs also to shift and evolve with it. We need to be more creative, more innovative, and adaptable. Essentially, if you want to succeed, as some niche brands are already have started their presence in the metaverse, as per Deloitte, the mixed reality is entering a rapid development stage. It's just like a smartphone. So it started at a very slow level, then now everyone has a smartphone in their pocket. So hopefully, everyone will have a VR box soon in their homes. It's just like I remember when the college education started. So there was one computer in the entire lab, and the students used to get roll numbers to go and try one computer. And now in the lab, every student has a computer, and we have a laptop in the house. So kind of that's how a transition metaverse would also take place in the upcoming future. So tech giants are also expanding themselves. A lot of new AR, VR tools are coming up, and probably they are being targeted to the next generation. However, that also raises a question that when Facebook started in 2021 with a lot of enthusiasm and changed its name to Meta, but now kind of they are very laid back. So some people are saying Metaverse is dead and Facebook failed as Meta. So there is a lot of questions like how would actually future look like. So we are in a scenario where there is an evolving utopia. We must focus on continuously understanding the changing scenarios and upskilling ourselves to the dynamic environment. So I, Anuja Shukla, want to thank you all for joining this exciting discussion. And now I would like to invite Navya to proceed with the session. Before that, I would just like to say students are posting the questions in the chat and the Q&A. So I request the panelists to answer them in the text if possible. Thank you.
So
Thank
I
you,
would like
ma'am.
just Navya, I would just like to add up to this point. Ma'am rightly said. Actually, what I would see is we are the last of the generations. I think so. Everybody in the panel probably we are of the same age groups. So who could actually experience this thing from both sides, from non-technical and from non IT and this IT background, because we have already seen as a kids we were not used to these sort of things like this computers, these all these things, and even Manuja ma'am rightly said that initially there used to be a roll number wise we had to go and experience the computer in the computer labs. Then there were the CDs, and then there were the floppy disk, etc., etc., which were prevalent. Everybody would have experienced this. So we are one of the luckiest generations actually to be experienced this thing from the both sides, like not from using it not at all to using it to the extreme ends. Thank you. Yeah, Navya, please go ahead.
Sure, sir. Thank you. It was indeed a wholesome discussion. I now invite our area chair marketing, Professor Deepak Halan. Sir is professor and area chair marketing at Jaipuria Institute of Management, Noida, in India, and earned his PhD in the area of online retail. His research interest areas include green marketing. Dr. Halan has more than 28 years of experience across academics and industry. His 17 years of industry experience spans across firms like IMG, HCL, Infosystems, and IDC India, a global provider of market intelligence and advisory services, amongst others. His latest industry stint was as Group Business Director with IMRB, a part of the Kantar Group, and that provides research expertise in over 100 countries worldwide. Dr. Halan's research has been published in reputed international journals such as International Journal of Retail and Distribution Management, International Development and Learning in Organizations, and Journal of Business and Globalization. He has presented several papers at international and national conferences and also published several articles in well-known magazines and newspapers, as well as book chapters. Sir, may I please invite you to present the vote of thanks?
Thank you, Navya. Thank you, everybody. I think it's been a immensely, insightful, enriching discussion. Very, very, diverse views, different perspectives. A huge gain, I would say, today. So, just thought I'll share my, two bits. A lot of insights have been shared by our esteemed panelists, and so the metaverse, which I also said, just when this session opened, that maybe a few years back it would have been perceived more as science fiction, but actually it's a reality today in the marketing field, and it's emerging as a brand building tool not only in the advanced economies, but pleasantly surprised to see it also, even in the emerging economies like India. So just to share a few quick examples, jewelry brand Tanishq launched its wedding collection in the 3D display zones on the metaverse, where signature pieces from the collection were displayed, and the audiences had a great visual experience. They were actually able to try out some of the signature pieces just by scanning the QR code. So that's I think a very innovative brand building initiative by Tanishq. Next, I'm sure you all must have heard of perhaps that Cadbury Dairy Milk had launched Silk's campaign, and it was all built around the Valentine's Day. So it was a metaverse campaign. It was a huge success. Why? Because we had almost 1 billion consumers sending secret messages to their loved ones, and these were then revealed to them on a virtual moon during a 3D dinner date. Right? Pretty fascinating. So a lot of engagement with the brand, I would say, in a very innovative and a different way. Next, we have like Hershey's. So Hershey's India launched Hershey Verse to build a very memorable holiday experience. So we had guests, they could interact with each other, they could learn about sweet holiday traditions, they could even explore virtual shops and avail discounts, attractive discounts, right? So these three examples, I found pretty interesting. And of course, there are many more. I mean, we during the conclave we've heard, Amol is there, and of course, you have. I was reading Seat has done some work, Mahindra and Mahindra has done some work, and of course, then you have brands abroad like Louis Vuitton and Gucci and so many more. So it's endless. It's so much work being done. And then we have, this famous author, Yuval Noah Harari. I'm sure you must have perhaps come across his books like Homo Sapiens. And so in his book, Homo Deus, he talks about the future we build for ourselves with the latest technologies. And with the metaverse, we take it one step ahead to rewrite the rules of how we interact with the virtual world and then with each other within this virtual world. So, all this makes me feel that we've just seen the tip of the iceberg, and we have a very long way to go. So this event has actually brought together leaders from diverse areas to share their views on the theme, which was marketing in the metaverse. And as I said, I think we received a wealth of deep and valuable insights and strategies to sustain in a digital world today. And a big thank you to our esteemed panelists, Mr. Nihar, Dr. Ashish, Mr. Vatsalya, and last but not the least, Mr. Chaitanya. It was really, fun talking to all of them. I would like to especially thank Professor Anuja Shukla. She's the chairperson of the conclave, and she comes with immense zeal and commitment towards organizing this conclave. She even managed to provide our campus faculty, our staff, and students an opportunity to experience the metaverse. I would also like to thank Professor Abhishek Jain. He has been the co-chairperson of this conclave, and all the students who worked really hard to make this event a success. A big thank you to the IT team for facilitating all our requirements. And last but not the least, thank you to all the faculty and the students who are in the audience right now for making this conclave so vibrant. So back to you, Navya.
Thank you, sir. I would like to thank our esteemed panel members for sparing their valuable time and sharing abundant knowledge with us today. As we draw this enlightening discourse on the metaverse to a close, may the insights we have gained fuel innovation, collaboration, and collective journey towards a dynamic digital future. Before we leave for the day, I request everyone to please switch on their cameras for us to capture this delightful moment. Just, ma'am, it's done. Thank you all for joining us today. It was an honor hosting you all. I wish everyone a stellar day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody.
the time.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, I think so. It was good. All the kudos to you.
Hello, sir. I
Ma'am,
got stuck in so many screens.
नहीं, it was a good one. अगर डायरेक्टर सर आते तो और थोड़ा बेटर होता.
Yeah, but I think everything was good. Everything went well. People loved it. In fact, panelists were also very happy. So
Yes.
yeah. Okay,
Okay.
let's
All
meet
the
on
kudos to you, ma'am. Thank you.
sir. Thank you so much for your participation, sir. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Bye.